Who are you? No, really, deep down, who are you? I'd venture to say most of us might be a little tongue-tied when asked this question. Growing up, we are molded, influenced, and shaped into people that may or may not truly vibe with our spirit. But when it comes to living intentionally, it is essential to dig deep through all of the BS we've been told about ourselves or the things we've convinced ourselves we are and really get to know who we are on a soul level, our most authentic selves. And when we find the courage to do this, because it isn't easy, and we truly begin to own our spirit, then we can really start to live an intentional life. Let's talk about that. Hi, I'm Courtney Meyers of The Intentional Home and Living, and this is our new podcast, Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers. And today's topic is all about getting to know your authentic self. This is our first podcast, and it's something that I really wanted to touch base on before we really got into the nitty-gritty of what intentional living is really about. We really need to learn who we are on a deep down level so that we can be the most intentional version of ourselves possible. The idea is when you want to set intentions, and intentions are such a big topic right now. You're seeing it all over the place in podcasts, on social media, online. People are talking about intentions. And it's not that it's just the new year that people are talking about it. It seems to be kind of a buzz term, a buzzword right now. And so we really want to get to the bottom of what intentions are, what they mean, and how you set your intentions best. And that brings us back to today's topic, talking about your most authentic self. The thing is, intentions designed with your spirit in mind are the ones that really allow you to thrive. Those are the intentions that stick, and those are the intentions that matter. Anyone can set intentions. You can throw out their ideas and things you want to do, accomplish, ways you want to act. But if it doesn't align with you, if it doesn't resonate with you on a spiritual and a soul level, then it's never going to hold. You're never going to stick to those intentions. Your ideas are never going to come to fruition. So we got to break it down. We got to get down to the beginning, and we got to figure out who we are on a soul level. And that's all what intentional living is about. Living intentionally is living as closely aligned to our true self as possible. Now, what's really interesting, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about this when it comes to myself and living a more intentional life, is that we oftentimes are living a life that we have been fed, that we have been spoon-fed. It's not out of the blue that you become who you are told you are. From childhood to adulthood, it impacts who we are, it impacts the way we act, and it impacts the life we live. And whether that's fair or unfair, it just is. So we have to kind of shed all that. We have to get through all that so that we can truly begin to know who we are and live for ourselves as opposed to others. I've been going through a lot of this probably over the last year or two, maybe truly since COVID hit. And my identity was just rocked. I had recently gotten married and had a baby and had just gone back to work for the first 3 months. And then COVID hit and my job was gone. I was in Hollywood living this quote unquote dream life, being a writer and producer on a top television show. I had worked with so many big name people, and anyone that heard what I was doing thought it was this glamorous, amazing, oh my goodness, how do you do this job kind of thing. And yeah, it had its perks and it was pretty cool from time to time. But at the end of the day, it wasn't me. I wasn't living my truth. I was living this life that I was told I was going to do. And that's not completely fair. I followed the path. I went down the path to do it. But when I think back to where I went to school, what I did, and everything that led up to the point of me working in Hollywood, it was all predicated on people telling me who I was, that I was a great writer, that I was a great speaker, that I needed to be in a field where I could talk and share these skills. Am I a great writer? Yes. Am I a great writer because I was told that? Or am I a great writer because I am? I don't know. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? It just is. But the thing is, you should ask yourself when you're trying to really break it down and get to the true, authentic you, Who are you living for? What about your life is you, and what about your life is something that you've been told? Now, there's a lot of things I could say about my life that I've been told, and a lot of things that I said that I wanted. It even comes down to things that I know I've talked with my parents about, them saying I was the driving force as a child behind all these different things, striving for good grades, going to a good school, performing, things like that. But honestly, I don't remember that as a child. I was told that I wanted to do those things. Now, truly, I actually do think those align with me and who I am and who I was. So that's not a bunch of BS, in my opinion. It seems to resonate with me well. But those are the types of things I was told. I don't remember being 3 years old and saying, Mommy, I want to do that. I was told this, and it became part of my story. We all have this story, and we all have a different variation of it. I remember something one way, my mom remembers something another way, my sister remembers it another way, and my dad will remember it another way. And then we all come together and we talk about it, and it formulates who we are growing up. Now, as you get older and older, you are more in control of that story, but that story is still influenced by everything you've been told up to that point. So as I got old enough to go to school and to start looking into my career, all I could think of, all I could hear of was, you're an amazing writer, you're a good speaker, you have a good presence, you should be a lawyer, you should go into journalism school, you should be on the news. So what did I do? I went to broadcast journalism school. I went to school to become a news anchor. Now, I explored a little bit and realized I liked more of the writing behind the scenes, so I took a different path. But I was guided there by my family and the stories I was told growing up. I'm actually happy with those decisions, but not always do we find ourselves with the stories told leading us in the direction that resonates with us on our deepest level. Now, I can say everything I've done has set me up and brought me to this point where I am now, creating this podcast, creating the intentional home and living, writing my first book that's about to come out, all the good things that are happening, the articles that I've published. Everything I've done up until this point has been training. So the stories we are fed and the stories we are told aren't just BS, like we said, but they are guiding us in a direction. And to really, truly start to begin to set intentions that work for you right now in the moment, you have to dig deep. Now, a lot of the stories I've been told have been great stories and have brought me to this point. But when I really look down deep at who I am, I wasn't always living outside of my work life intentionally. I wasn't living as my true, authentic self. And that spurred a couple years worth of lots of soul searching, a lot of work. And here I am now finally stepping into me, stepping into the true me, the one that I can understand, that I felt deep down was always within me. And each and every one of us has to do this. We go through it at different points in our life, and it's not easy. It's really hard to own your truth, to own your authentic self. You may distance yourself from people. You may find yourself going down a different path, and you may completely lose touch with some people in your life because they don't recognize this person you are. They don't recognize this version of you. Your most authentic self is not the self that everyone knows. Your most authentic self is the person you know within, and you have to be comfortable to take those steps in order to get to know that person, accept that person, and live as that person. A funny story always gets brought up about my husband. Every time he goes back to see his family, which has been quite a while, but every time he is around people in his extended family, they bring up the idea that he doesn't share. Now, he shares. The fact is, he didn't share when he was 6 years old. We all are remembered by people around us as a certain version of us, but that version of us might have changed. It might have grown. I hope it's grown, because if you're not growing and evolving, then you aren't truly living. And to live intentionally, you sure as hell have to grow. You have to change. You have to push yourself to the limit and get uncomfortable. You have to accept change, and you have to just go with it blindly sometimes in the faith that you are going in the right direction. I am living proof. I am doing it as we speak. But to own that person is hard, especially when people are saying, oh, you don't share. Well, my husband shares. He was 6 years old. They just, for some reason, have fond memories of him not sharing, teasing him, and that's all they see when they talk to him. He is a grown man, a father of two. He's started his own business that is flourishing, and it's amazing. And no one can see that version of him because they don't see it every day, and they want to hold on to the version of them they revere, that they remember, that they loved. So when you do set out to own your true, authentic self, you have to get okay with the idea that people may not accept you. People may not accept this new version of you. People may not know you, and it may cause some friction. It may cause some change. It may cause relationships to either evolve in a good way or fall by the wayside or just feel a little strained and weird and awkward. And you'll have to navigate that. It's what my mentor calls dancing in the fire. And it's not always fun. But when you really want to live intentionally, when you want to get intentional about your life, when you really want to step into your full potential, you have to do it. It's the only way to really understand who you are and to be able to start to set intentions to push your life forward in the direction that is most suited for you. And when you do that, things start to fall into place. Things start to get better. Things start to just flow easier. That is one topic my husband and I talk about quite a bit, being in flow. When you're in flow, things just magically happen. They just magically appear. Today, I magically got a check for $625 out of the blue. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I asked for a little surprise from the universe. I set the intention that I was going to get a surprise today. I got our mail. It's been a couple days since I've had the mail because our mailbox was hit by a car the other day, and we don't actually have the mailbox, so we had to go to the post office, but we got the mail today. Opened it up. I open up thinking I'm opening up a bill, and lo and behold, a check for $625. It's my lucky day. But it's not really luck. It's the universe providing, because I am stepping into my authentic self. I am stepping into flow. I am becoming the person who is most aligned with who I am meant to be and where I am going in my life. So that is the first concept that we really need to take hold of. We need to step in and learn to accept our most authentic self. Now, this isn't always easy. It just doesn't come to you. It's, for me, really owning this authentic version of me and my truest self. Well, I'm still working on it, but diving deep, it took me places I never would have imagined. I now moved my family from California to Tennessee, away from everyone we knew, and we have started a brand new life on faith. We have started a brand new life because we were inspired and guided to do this. We set the intention that we wanted to provide the best for our family and create a life on our terms. And that is where it took us. Because my husband and I both did a lot of inner work getting to know who we were. So my question to you is, do you know who you are? I said this in the intro. Do you know who you are? Take a minute and try and think about that. Who am I? If someone was to come up to you today and ask you who you are, could you answer? Would you answer, I am an accountant? Would you answer, I am a mom? Would you answer, I am a daughter? I am a husband? Who are you? Because those are just labels. I don't say that's who you are. You are something totally different. Deep down, you aren't the labels that are put on you. You are something else. What drives you? What brings you joy? What do you do on a daily basis that makes you want to continue? Those are the things that make you who you are. Now, I've been through years of therapy. I have a mentor. I've had multiple mentors. I've had other mentors in the past. I am committed to always learning and growing and exploring this new version of myself. But not everyone has that desire, or not everyone has the opportunity to do all those things. So I came up with a really fun way for you to try and get to know who you are at your most authentic level. And the idea is take yourself on a date. This is my intention of the week. And I'm going to try and do this in every podcast, is set an intention for the week. And the intention for this week is to get to know yourself by taking yourself on a first date. When we go on a first date, we explore all the who's, what's, where's, when, why's about the person we're on that date with. We want to know what their favorite color is. We want to know where they came from. We want to know about their family history. You want to know all those good things. And so take yourself on a date. Get to know yourself. What is your favorite color? A funny story just recently happened to me. I was exploring the idea of going through subconscious reprogramming through hypnosis. And I had an acquaintance do a consult for me. And during this consult, I was lightly hypnotized to see how it would work with me. And at the end of the hypnosis period, they asked me, "What is your favorite color?" And the first thing that came out of my mouth was pink. It caught on my tongue because pink by no means in any waking state would I say is my favorite color. I like pink, sure, it's great, but every day I crave green. I like to see green trees. I like green grass. I grew up in Southern California. It was very brown. It is the desert. I mean, the beach is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, the shades are brown, and all I ever wanted was green, 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 green. It's one of the things I loved about moving to Tennessee is the amount of green. Green fields are everywhere, and I absolutely love them. It's calming, it's healing, it soothes me. So when they asked me what my favorite color was, and I started to say pink, I just kind of stopped and was like, wait a minute, where's that coming from? That's not right. And they said to me, see, that is your subconscious thinking. That is the true you. That is what's buried deep down in you. They removed all the different barriers, and my spirit loves pink. Who would have thunk? But that's what it comes down to. So you may think you know yourself. You may think you know the answers to all those first date questions, but I bet you don't. If you really got quiet and really thought about it, you might find that you like pink over green. So I challenge you, set that intention and take yourself on a date this week and really, truly take yourself on a date. Go somewhere by yourself and just go to the park, go to a coffee shop, go sit in a restaurant, go to a bookstore, walk around and truly look within and ask yourself those questions. Even speak out loud. I mean, people might think you're somewhat crazy. If you don't want to go in public and have a conversation out loud with yourself, then do it at home. Sit on your couch, pour yourself a glass of wine if that's what makes you happy, or light fire, set the scene, and take yourself on a date and talk to yourself. Even better, write it down. Writing is amazing. Now, you don't have to be a writer to write. Journaling, automatic writing, it will unlock the keys to so much information about yourself. I try and journal every night. I am not good at it, doing it every night. I go through periods where I'm much better than others. But when you write, and I do my 3 pages is what I do. And when you write 3 pages every night and just start writing, it could be the same sentence over and over and over again, but you just start moving the pen, then things start to flow and you can go back and look at it and be like, whoa, what did I say? So if you don't want to actually take yourself on a date and talk about it, take yourself and a piece of paper, get a journal and a pen and sit down and set the intention at the top. I want to meet my most authentic self. I am here to talk to my most authentic self, and start writing. Ask yourself the questions and then let the pen answer. And then you will get to the bottom of who you really are. Once you can start doing that, then you can see what the intentions are that align with you most. So let's say your intention is to live a healthier life, but when you look deep down, you hate to exercise. Your soul is not an exerciser. They don't like to walk. They don't like to be in nature. You don't like to get sweaty. So what do? You need to look at other options for becoming healthy. That's the only way your intention is going to unfold. Otherwise, you're just going to give up on it. You need to align your intentions with the true you. Now, you might force yourself to do an intention or a resolution because Honestly, intentions are very similar to resolutions in some ways. It's just the verbiage and what the meaning is you put behind it. But you might be able to muster up the strength and get yourself to the gym for a couple months, but you're not going to stay true. It's going to fall off. So to live intentionally, you have to be aligned. You have to know who you are. And I know I keep saying it. It's the most important thing. It's the foundation for intentional living. It is the foundation of all the work we're going to do. It's the foundation for everything we're going to talk about. And it is the foundation for taking intention not only into your life, but pushing it through your life, pushing it out into your home, which is what my first book is about, The Intentional Home. It's all about bringing intention into your home to provide a space for you to thrive. It's getting rid of the baggage and the clutter and the bad energy and allowing yourself to have a sanctuary for your soul, a sanctuary for your spirit, a place where you just feel at home and you want to live. But in order to do that, you need to know what kind of home your authentic self wants to live in. And only then will you be able to thrive in your home. See the theme here? Get to know yourself and all your intentions will fall into place because they will be aligned with the true you. So that is it for today. I just really wanted to say thank you for listening. And thank you for joining me on the first podcast for Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers. Stay tuned for information on our book release. It's going to be coming out in 2023. And in addition to that, we'll be having an oracle card deck and a workbook or journal to go with it. Join us on all the social sites on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and TikTok, where we give daily intentional tips, show a little bit about intentional living, have some fun moments with me, my family, my kids, and just continue on this path of growing and learning and changing and becoming more intentional in every action in our day, because literally every action you take in your day is an intentional action. You are making a choice to do something at all moments of every day, whether that's look at your phone, whether that's pick up this podcast, whether that's go for a walk, whether that's eat a donut. It doesn't matter. You are making that choice, and that choice is backed by an intention you set. So get to know yourself and let us know how that goes, and we'll see you next week.